So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Well, as far as I remember, in the last session, we had discussed types of equilibrium. We had discussed stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. And if I remember correctly, I've already sent you the notes in your group, and I had asked you to write the notes, the table in your books, in your notebooks. Have you done that? Online class, offline class? Have you noted down those points in your notes? If you're not noted down in your notes, it's already there. You must note it down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the important points, and you just mark them, and you can note it down in your notebook. Now, there are 6 or 7 points over there. There are 6 or 7 points. All are not needed for your NEET exam. So I'll just highlight those points which are needed for your NEET exam. So I'll go back to that. I will go back to your. Oops, where is that? That thing is also gone. I will go back to your notes, which are already there in your app, as well as they have been distributed to you as well. So we'll go back to those notes, and I will show you what all you need to do in those notes. Just give me a moment. Let me just open up those files for you. Okay, these are the two files here, and I will go to this one. Right. This one is the first. We had discussed the types of equilibrium, and we have discussed the 3 types of equilibrium. So you'll have to note down and understand the basic difference between the 3 equilibrium. If I remember correctly, we had also seen the graph, and we had seen at what all points you have what type of equilibrium. The graph is there in the notes. The notes that I have sent you, it is also in the notes that I have sent for your reference in your group. Just to have a quick recap of what types of equilibrium were there. There were 3 types of equilibrium: stable, unstable, and neutral. And we had seen that stable equilibrium means the body is at the bottom, the potential energy is minimum. If I try to push this ball upwards, it will always try to come back to its original position. Down the hill, in the valley, if there is something, if you push it up, it will always come back. This is the condition of stable equilibrium, represented by the ball over here, the blue ball. If I have a ball on the top of the hill, if I have a ball on the top of the hill, if I just disturb it, it will never come back, it will just fall down. This type of equilibrium is known as unstable equilibrium. The red one is unstable equilibrium. The third one, the yellow one, or whatever one, as you can see, it's on a plane surface. Energy always remains same, and this type of equilibrium is known as neutral equilibrium. So these are the 3 types of equilibrium. You must remember these 3 diagrams: the blue ball, the red ball, and the yellow ball. If you remember this, if you remember the potential energy curve, and where is the force attractive, where is the force repulsive, and where is the force zero, wherever there is the force, wherever the force is zero, that is the point of equilibrium. For unstable equilibrium, potential energy is high. For stable equilibrium, potential energy is low, and that is what you need to note down from this sheet. First point, which is given in the sheet, that is what that point is telling us. I will just go through that point, mark it with red. Stable equilibrium. For stable equilibrium, when a particle is displaced slightly from a position, then a force acting on it brings back to its original position. This type of equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. If I push it, it will go, but it will always try to come back to its original position, to its initial position. Such equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. As you can see, there is a word used over here, force. Whenever I displace it from its stable position, whenever I displace it from its initial position, there always would be a force which would act such that it comes back to its original position. This force is also known as restoring force. Now you will be coming across this term restoring force in the chapter on simple harmonic motion. So it's prudent that I tell you that this force is also known as restoring force. Such type of equilibrium where I displace a body from its initial position, a force will act and will try to bring the body back to its original position. Such equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. You can take the example of a pendulum also. Pendulum is nothing, there is a wall, there is a thread attached to the wall, and then is a bob. Wall on ceiling, thread, ball. If I displace this ball, it will go up, but it will come down. While it is going up, there is a force which is trying to pull it back. This force which is trying to pull it back is known as the restoring force. Restoring. It is trying to bring it back. Restore. Bring it back. Restore. Bring it back. It is trying to bring this body back to its original position. Such type of equilibrium is known as stable equilibrium. Do we understand this? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? This is what stable equilibrium means. We have seen it in great details. I hope it is clear to everyone in the class. Can I have some raise hand that we are clear with this? From the class or anyone in the class can just tell me whether it is clear or not. Stable equilibrium. Now the other 2 points about stable equilibrium we will deal once we come to the stable equilibrium. This is the first point. I have marked it in red. Now let us move on to the unstable equilibrium. And what is this unstable equilibrium? So we reverse everything and we get unstable equilibrium. So what is unstable equilibrium? Marked in blue. In stable equilibrium, there was a force acting which is trying to bring the body back. What happens in unstable? When a particle is displaced slightly from a position, then a force acting on the particle tries to displace the particle further away. It is not trying to pull it back, it is trying to push it further away. Go now, go, don't come back, go. From the equilibrium position, it is said to be in unstable equilibrium. So you can understand a very stark difference, big difference between the two. In stable equilibrium, force will try to pull it back to its original position. This force is known as the restoring force. But in unstable equilibrium, this force does the reverse. It is not restoring. It is pushing the particle further away from its position. Go, I don't want you, go. Such equilibrium is known as unstable equilibrium. In stable equilibrium, there is force which is trying to pull it back. In unstable equilibrium, there is a force which is trying to push it away. Go, I don't need you. Stable equilibrium, red. Unstable equilibrium, blue. Stable equilibrium, bottom of the hill. Unstable equilibrium, top of the hill. What about the third one? Third one would be marked in green, definitely. The neutral equilibrium. Now, as soon as we talk about neutral equilibrium, what will happen? In stable, there is a force which is trying to pull it back. In unstable, there is a force which is trying to push it away. In neutral, there is no force. When a particle is slightly displaced from a position, then it does not experience any force acting on it. Well done. and it continues to remain in equilibrium in the displaced position, this is said to be neutral equilibrium. So if I push it, well, when it was in this original position, there was no force. When I push it or move it to the other side, there is still no force. So it will still remain in equilibrium. Such type of equilibrium marked in green is known as neutral equilibrium. Stable, restoring force. Unstable, pushing away force, go away. Neutral, no force. I hope this is clear to all of you. Stable, unstable, neutral. Now let us move on to the second point on this with the red. For stable equilibrium, potential energy is minimum, so it is on the bottom of the hill. Bottom of the hill. For unstable equilibrium, the body is on the top of the hill. Top of the hill. On the top of the hill. Marked in blue. Third case, the potential energy remains constant, same level. In stable equilibrium, it is minimum, lowest. In unstable equilibrium, it is maximum, highest. In neutral, it remains same. Flat surface is neutral equilibrium. The third thing, which is common to all, as you can see, is that force, which is the negative slope of the graph of energy, force has to be zero in all the three, because equilibrium only comes when the force is zero. These are the 3 points that you must remember as medical students about these 3 types of equilibrium. I must tell you that you will hardly get any question on this, because it becomes a bit out of scope of NEET. But yeah, you can definitely get a question on the red one, the stable equilibrium. Maybe unstable as well, I don't know. I mean, if they make the paper tough, well, if they make the paper tough, then you will have a gala time, because you will be able to crack it most of the time. So these are the 3 points that you must remember about these forces. I hope you have noted them down. I will also give you a minute to note them down. Apart from these 3 points, the other thing that you must remember, point number 4 that you must remember, is this diagram. This diagram can definitely come in NEET, whether it is diagram number 1, diagram number 2, or diagram number 3. So these are the 4 things that you must remember about this. Point number 5 is basically meant for engineering students. Point number 5, it is basically maths, nothing else. I will not go into that. Will not serve any useful purpose. So point number 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the 4 points that you must remember about stable, unstable, and neutral equilibrium. I will give you a minute to note it down if you have not noted it down till now. A minute. Stable, unstable, and neutral equilibrium. I I hope you have noted it down. Now it's time that we move ahead and solve one or two problems, basic problems based on this concept, and that will help us in understanding it further. So this is the first problem that we are going to deal with, problem number 32. I am going to dictate the problem, and I also mark the important points that you must remember while reading any question. You must mark down the important points. So here is the question, and I'll underline the important points that you must get in the first stage. In the first reading, you will only get one chance to read a question, remember, in the examination hall. So you should get into the habit of reading the question once and able to solve it. The potential energy of a body. So potential energy is the important term. Potential energy of the body is given by A minus bx square. X is the displacement. X should be the position. It is written as displacement. Doesn't matter. The magnitude of force acting on the particle is how much? Potential energy is given. You have to calculate force. This is a question that came in Banaras Hindu University engineering exam actually. Now this BHU is now IIT. IIT BHU now. This is a question from the IIT. You can see it's pretty damn simple. I hope you can do it. I'll give you a minute to solve it. Potential energy is given. X is the position. What is the force? It's a straightforward question. It's a straightforward answer. Potential energy is given. We know the relation between potential energy and force. Basically, we have to calculate force from potential energy. Force is the negative slope of the graph minus du by dx. Yeah, del u by dx, del u by del x. I have to differentiate this. So I will get force as directly proportional to x. F will be coming as 2 times bx. If I differentiate it with respect to x partially, force is directly proportional to x. That is the answer that we are getting, and hence the correct option is B. Option number B is the correct option. Do we understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Online people, offline people. Okay, I have response from the online class. Offline class, I think. I hope the online students are also able to get this. Abhiram has got this. Great. Okay. As you can see, it is a pretty straightforward question. I would be very happy now if you can solve this one, which is problem number 33. Again from your notes. Problem number 33. I will again mark the important points. Remember, you only get to read the question once, and you must get it correct. The potential energy of a system is represented by the first figure. So this figure tells us its potential energy. What is the force acting on the particle? So again, graphical questions. These are the questions that are more likely to come. One graph is given. You have to tell me the answer in the other graph. The first graph that is given is for energy versus position. From that graph, using logic and common sense and what you know about force and energy correlation, you should be able to tell me which is the correct option here. Your time starts now. You will get a minute to get me the answer and tell me which option is correct. The time starts now. Anyone with any answer? Online, offline? Anyone with any answer? Energy graph is given. You have to find out the force graph from the energy graph. Offline, online? No one? Okay, then I must solve the question now. I'm looking at the graph here. This is the graph between energy and the position of the particle. If you can see here, the slope of this graph is constant. It's a straight line. Slope is positive. We all know this is a positive slope and it is a constant slope as well. Slope is positive and constant. This one, slope is positive and constant. Here in this case, the slope is 0. As you can all see, slope is 0. So you have a positive slope first, then a 0 slope. Remember, slope of, no, the negative of the slope of the energy graph gives us the force. Negative of the slope. Slope is positive. So negative of that slope is negative. So force should be negative from O to A. If I call this point as A, from O to A, slope is positive, and therefore force has to be negative. Force has to be negative and force has to be constant because slope is constant. Force should be negative, force should be constant from O to A. After A, force is 0. So now I have to look for a graph where from O to A, slope is, no, from O to A, force is negative, and from A onwards, force is 0. Which graph represents that? Graph number A does not represent that. Graph number B does not represent that. Graph number C does not. Graph number D does not represent that. The only graph which represents is force is negative from O to A, and thereafter it is 0. The only graph which is showing us this is graph number C, and that is our final answer. Graph number C. Do we all understand this? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? I've got raise hands from whom? Let me see. Okay, everyone in the class has got this. Abhiram has got this. Tanu, what about you? Did you understand this, beta? Let me check it out. Yes, Tanush is yes. Okay, that is fine. So if you have understood this, then one last problem that will end up this particular topic, and this problem is again pretty straightforward. These are the types of problem that you will get in a NEET exam if the exam is a bit on the tough side. Problem number 34. Read the problem once, mark the important points, solve the question. What are the important points? A particle moves in a potential region, so energy is given 8x square minus 4x plus 100 joules, 400 joules. What is the state of equilibrium? You have to find where it is equilibrium. Equilibrium means force is constant. No, force is not constant. Force is 0. Force is 0 means du by dx, the derivative of this energy, negative of du by dx is 0. U is given, find du by dx, equate it to 0, find the value of x, and that should be your answer. Your time starts now. Anyone got any answer for this one? Well, as I said, it is pretty straightforward. The first thing that we do is to find force which is negative of the slope of the energy function. All of us know it, not a problem. So you find negative of the derivative of this thing. To differentiate 8x square minus 4x plus 400. I know that you know how to differentiate it. Simple formula you have to put. So this derivative will come as this one, 16x minus 4. The negative of that is equal to 0. So positive of that is also equal to 0. We all understand this much of maths. So x becomes 4 by 16. In effect, it becomes 0.25 meters. That is the answer that we were looking at. Can I have some raise hand that I have achieved this result and we are happy with the same? Simple question, doesn't require pyrotechnics. So as simple as it gets. Everyone got this? Great, great. Okay, so now you must congratulate yourself. We are already done with your this equilibrium part, and we must now move on ahead and note some important points about elastic potential energy. Now these are the type of points which are going to get converted into questions, so please note them down. I will post this second sheet, this second classwork, this second note sheet in your Telegram group just after the class. Don't worry about it, you will have it on your group. You can have a look at these notes and make a note of them. So let us now move on and move ahead and write the next heading: elastic potential energy, spring potential energy. Well, we already know about spring potential energy. We have already seen that the spring potential energy is nothing but equal to half kx square. All of us know this, but here this is explained in great details, and even the force is explained here. So I would request you to note them down. See, what do we have here? There are simple things that we already know. If you can draw the diagram, you would be able to understand. You would be able to understand about the spring. Here, the spring is in natural length. There is no extension. There is no compression. There is no force acting on the block. Here now I have extended the spring. So the spring will exert a force in the opposite direction, which will try to bring it back to the original position. And this force, vectorly, if I say, will be equal to minus kx. K is a constant which is known as the spring constant. X is the displacement. X is the displacement from the equilibrium position. X is the displacement from the equilibrium position. Remember, this equation is again going to come very soon in the chapter on simple harmonic motion. F is equal to minus kx, simple harmonic motion. Negative sign indicates that this force is opposite to displacement. If the displacement is forward, force is backward. If the displacement is backward, force is forward, and that is why it is trying to bring it back. That is why it is trying to bring it back to its original position, and that is why it is known as this dabba wala force, restoring force. It is trying to bring the particle back, trying to bring the particle back to its original position, and therefore it is known as restoring force. If you can just draw these three diagrams, write F is equal to minus kx, that is good enough for you. X is the displacement from the mean position or the equilibrium position. K is the spring constant. Negative sign indicates that it is opposite to displacement. Negative sign indicates that it is opposite to displacement. If you can note this thing down, I'll give you 2 minutes to do it. Well, I hope you have noted down this small thing about spring. The next thing that we are going to note is the expression for spring potential energy or potential energy stored in spring. You can also call it elastic potential energy. We already know the answer is half kx squared. We have also solved question based on this. Energy in the spring is half kx squared. We all know it. K is the spring constant and x is the displacement from the mean position. But what we are going to do now is write this in this form, half into F into x, because you know that F is equal to kx. So you can substitute the value of k as F by x, and then you have, if you call the upar wala as formula number 1, then you have niche wala as formula number 2. They are not different, they are written in different ways, they represent the same thing. Similarly, I can write it in a different way as well. So now I can substitute the value of x as F by k again, and I have the third iteration, third variation of the same formula. So elastic potential energy or spring potential energy stored in a spring can be written in these three ways. You can take your pick which way you like. I like half kx squared. I don't know why, but I like this half kx squared, gentlemen. It is easier to remember. You can also remember half fx, or f squared by 2k, your choice, your wish, nothing else. So these are the formulas for energy. I'll give you a minute to note them down, write them in a secure place. Well, I hope you have noted this thing down, given you enough time. Well, the next thing is, we have also done a question on this. You can also note it down. If the spring is stretched from initial position x1, so initial extension is x1, to final extension x2, remember, work done is negative of change in the potential energy. You should never forget this relation between the two. Initial position, the extension is x1. Please note it down. The final position extension is x2. What is the work done? It is pretty simple. All of us know this. It's pretty simple. All of us know this. So it will be equal to, it is written here wrongly, so I'll just correct it. So I will just write it here, minus of half k x2 square minus x1 square. That would be the way that you should write it. Otherwise, you will get confused. So you just write it. Spring is stretched from initial position x1 to final position x2. Work done by the spring. Remember, this is the work done by the spring, not anything else. By the spring on the block is this much. Minus of half k x2 squared minus x1 squared. We have done problems on this. I hope you should be able to solve it. Well, I hope you have noted this down. Then there is a small energy graph for a spring. Now, to understand this energy graph, will have to go through the chapter of SHM, which I think you have not done, but you can just skip it for now. You can just skip it for now. Um, and you can just, because there are energies here, kinetic energy, potential energy, it might be difficult for us to understand it at this point, but this is a very important graph. If you can draw this graph, this one, if you can draw this graph, it would be very, most of the question in your NEET would be coming from this graph. We would be discussing this graph, don't worry, we'll come back to this graph when we understand more about something known as law of conservation of energy. So we will be discussing this graph at that point in time. Don't worry, right now we just move ahead, and solve one or two problems based on this, so that we are sure about solving those problems if they come in the exam. This is the first problem, and as you can see, it has come multiple times in PMT, CPMT, or whatever it is. It was previously known as PMT and CPMT NEET. So as you can see, it has come multiple times. So you can vouch that it can come again. These are the types of problem. As you can see, the level of questions in NEET pretty straightforward. You don't need rocket science to do them. Yeah, pretty straightforward question. If you know the concept, you just do it. Just put the formula, get the answer, stay happy. The only thing that they are testing is your speed rather than your knowledge in physics. They're not testing your knowledge in physics. They're just testing your speed. And that is why you need to improve your speed. How do you improve your speed? You practice a lot and read the question just once and solve it then and there itself. A long spring is stretched by 2 centimeters. Its potential energy is U. Marking the important points. If the spring is stretched by 10 centimeters, what is the energy stored in it? Once you read it and then you solve it, you have a minute to do it. Well, I hope you are able to do this. It is pretty straightforward. Energy stored in a spring is half kx square. All of us know it. In the final position, it will be half kx2 square. In the initial position, it will be half kx1 squared. Half k will get cancelled. So it will simply become, as you can see from here, energy is proportional to x squared. If the spring is same, k will remain same. Energy is proportional to x squared. So u2 by u1 will be x2 by x1 squared. X2 is 10, x1 is 5, is 2, 10 by 2 is 5, 5 square, so energy will become 25 times of the original value. Am I clear? These are the type of question that you're going to get. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Then there is this problem number 36. Again, a straightforward question. Doesn't take rocket science to understand this. Spring constant is given as 5 into 10 raised to the power 3 Newton per meter. Initially stretched by 5 centimeters. Remember, convert centimeter into meter from its unstretched position. Then the work required to stretch it further by 5 centimeters. Remember, this is not the work done by the spring. This is work done by the external force. And remember, work done by the external force is negative of work done by the spring. So in this case, it will be equal to change in the change in the potential energy. So there is no negative sign, as you can see from here. So they are talking about the work done by the external force. Work done by the external force is simply equal to change in the potential energy, final potential energy minus initial potential energy. That is what you need to calculate. Calculate it, get your answer, stay happy. Well, I think you have already done this problem. It is a simple calculation. Work done by the external force is change in internal, not internal, change in the potential energy. This you always reminds me of internal energy. That's why I keep on taking internal energy. So it will be half k x2 square minus x1 square. Put the value of k. Remember to convert everything into meters. That is why 10 raised to the power minus 2. It's an important term. Convert everything into meters, subtract, add, multiply, whatever you got to do, and you will have an answer of 18.75 joules, and that is your answer. There are other questions as well. Question number 37, 38, 39. If you can do all these three as homework, that would be much more than enough. That would be much more than enough. Even question number 38 you can skip because you can do it in the chapter on SHM. Right now you may not do it. You can do it in a chapter on SHM. You can do 37 and 39 even. It is more than enough for you to be solving any problem that can come in your final exam. So that is it for today's class. We have discussed again the type of equilibrium. We have discussed some problems on equilibrium. We have seen spring potential energy again, noted this formula and solved some questions. So that is it from my end. If you have any doubts on today's class, please come up. Else the class is over from my end and I'll see you in the next class. Take care. I'm here in the class. If you have anything, please ask. Bye bye.